Chris, putting it into motion. You see the player there on the left. You'll see the shot right here now. He hits it good. He's a whisker inside his line, and he knew it. He was praying for the ball to hold tight right there. You see it by his body motion. Now you see by his emotion how dejected he is.
Heck of a game. Total of 245 for Barry Asher. And now with 6 in a row, Larry Lobb, who won the first 2 games with a 280 and a 233, shoots in the 10th frame.
Chris, he needs a mark. And not only that, he needs good count.
Okay.
That's a pretty good one, too.
There's a mark. And Barry Asher.
That's the best kind of mark I know of, Chris. Chris, he needs a mark. And not only that, he needs good count.
Okay.
That's a pretty good one, too.
There's a mark. And Barry Asher.
That's the best kind of mark I know of, Chris. Now, if he strikes here, he'd be in the 260s. If he struck on the final shot, he'd have a 270 game on almost about a 783 series.
There's your winner. His 3rd victory in a row here this afternoon.
Now, this is the question of whether you want to be at the bottom and move up the ladder or whether you want to be the tournament leader. Larry Lobb is becoming emotionally drained. He's had some tough matches, so this takes a lot out of you, Chris.
Right. And an unorthodox, somewhat, bowler will go against Larry in the finals worth $6,000. There it is. A 270, defeating Barry Asher, who rolls a very impressive 245. And there is Max Jensen from Lincoln, Nebraska, who is the man, the tournament leader, and the man to beat in the finals. At stake, the championship and $6,000. We'll be back in a moment.
Now comes Miller time, when night comes in like an old friend and there's time to appreciate the difference a quality beer can make. A great tasting beer, Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, Miller stands clear. Beer after beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
These are professional test drivers who torture Firestone tires under controlled conditions at Firestone test tracks. These are great drivers, too, who put tires to the toughest tests of all, over curbs and road junk and chuck holes out on the real roads. It's for them we make the Firestone 500 Steel Belt, a new tire that lets you ride with steel between you and tire trouble. The People tire. It is really tough.
Stuart Granger stars in The Hound of the Baskervilles tonight on ABC.
That's Congressman and the Senate. That gentleman in the center is Congressman Larry Wynn of Kansas, watching the action here, and it's been something. A 261 average for Larry Lobb, victor in 3 games, a series of 289, and Max Jensen now is his opponent, the tournament leader. And Max knows that he has his work cut out.
Well, certainly so, but try this one on. Max Jensen shot 298 on this pair.
All right.
So we could really have a game.
Leading off will be Larry Lobb. How's that determined, Billy? Who leads off?
The man who finishes highest in the standings has the right to choose a starting lane.
Oh, okay. Not quite, leaving the 10-pin on the left lane. 789 series, a 261 average in 3 games. And Billy, this week, did somebody roll a record-breaking series?
Yes, certainly did, Chris. Out in St. Louis, former tour player, a very fine bowler, Ray Orff, shot 890, broke Ali Rent's all-time record of 886. He had 290, 300, and 300.
Wow. Going for the spare now, Larry Lobb. Marks in the first frame. And here now is your first opportunity to take a look at a fellow that is big enough to have played on Coach Bob Devaney's National Championship Cornhusker team.
Boy, if the fight started in here, I'm going to get on his side, I'll tell you that.
Max Jensen moving to the line.
Watch this ball. Crunch!
Let's take a look at an arrow.
Chris, that's on his left shoe. Many times we're asked why a bowler looks at his foot when starting. That's to determine his starting position. Now, Max uses an arrow to select, then he will not forget. He looks down at the arrow and lines that up with his starting board.
And wearing spats over those bowling shoes. Now,
taking us back to the Count Gingler days.
Yes, sir.
Maybe he's got a limousine and a high hat and a cane in the parking lot. I don't know.
If he wins here, he could have one for a while.
Not only that, he goes to Firestone, gets a shot at the 25,000. That's really a big game for Max.
And like Lobb, who opened the game when the first frame, he left the 10-pin.
And here we're going to see, with all this power, watch it. The 6 goes right around that 10. Tough break, like Barry Usher had.
31 years old, from Lincoln, Nebraska. And what a University of Nebraska football fan this man is. And the Franco, which is called, covers the 10-pin, so he has a strike and a spare. And moving up to the line now is Larry Lobb with 3 victories this afternoon. Pin on the right lane for Lobb. This is a man that started in number 5. We'll be trying to go all the way. And this year, Billy, we've had 2 bowlers on our telecast, Don Johnson and Gus Lampo, who have gone from 5th to win.
That's not an easy thing to do. Trailing
by 1 pin, and he'll go over to the left lane now to stroke. He's going against Max Jensen. First time on television. Seen Larry Lobb before.
Chris, he's really been knocking on the door lately. Started back in November for him. He's been right at winning almost every tournament. A couple of sudden death playoffs he lost. He's really, really been hot.
And he's third in the money standings behind Lampo and Don Johnson. And it's Jensen now who gets up. Very likable 31-year-old bowler from Lincoln, Nebraska. Shooting in the 3rd frame with a spare up, leading by 1 pin.
Good shot of his feet. Mr. Grinder. Chris, we talked to him, and he's changed his style quite a bit with his footwork. This is what Max talked about.
Well, Billy, the reason I think I made the finals this week is because in the last 2 weeks it's taken a straighter shot to win, and therefore I've been moving around quite a great deal on the approach in the last 2 tournaments, and I've lost a great deal of my execution. During this week's tournament, I've had to move to a 6-step approach to stay more behind the ball and therefore have a greater control. And because of it, I've got my execution back now to about 100%, or as close as I can get to it. And during the finals today, I'll probably go back to a 5-step approach so I can gain a little greater ball speed, and therefore I can have a straighter shot.
All right, Max Jensen.
Chris, when a man can talk and do that, you know he knows what he's talking about and what he's trying to do.
The match is all even after 3 frames. This is for the championship, this game.
There you see the big wide cranking ball of Max. Hit.
All right, we'll be back with more of this final match between Max Jensen and Larry Lobb in just a moment here in Overland Park, Kansas.
We got to finish the whole north side by 5. Yeah, and I'm meeting Marge right after. Oh, man, are we going to have a big day?
Then use what I use, Manpower Antiperspirant. It's got the strength to help protect a man against wetness and odor. Take it from me, Manpower is strictly for men.
Big day?
Gigantic. See what I mean?
Get Manpower, deodorant or antiperspirant for man-size protection.
Cartier Jewelers is about to risk a rough diamond that could be worth $125,000 to test the ride of this new Mercury Marquis. Their man, Joseph Raffel, will attempt to split the stone while riding through New York City traffic. Struck precisely, the diamond could double in value. The slightest mistake, and it's worthless dust. Our speed, 35 miles an hour. How'd we do?
Perfect. Beautiful.
Mercury Marquis, with a ride that's steady as a rock. At the sign of the cat.
Well, look at Larry Lobb, who in his first 3 victories bowled 28 strikes. He has a strike up in the 3rd, shooting in the 4th, going against Max Jensen in the final match.
Pretty good roll.
4-pin.
A little whisker too much roll there, Chris. The lane is going to finish a little more now than in the first game or 2. There have been quite a few shots up the track. As you know, Larry Lobb alone, 28 strikes. So he may have to go to a little more speed or not roll it with quite as much fingers.
All right.
There you see the ball come off the fingers. Last, that's where you get the good roll.
The match is all even through 4 frames. Here's very cool Max Jensen on television for the first time. His wife is here watching his performance.
Yes, and an interesting thing, he told me that she makes all of his trousers, so she's pretty good in the sewing room, too.
Yeah. That was a strike by Larry Lobb in the 5th frame. Now Jensen has a strike up in the 4th, shooting in the 5th. Did his wife make those trousers?
Yes, she did.
There she is.
They grow them pretty in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
There's that big breaker, Chris.
That looks like the type of ball that our old friend Bill Lillard used to roll.
Certainly did. Maybe the crankers are coming back. You mentioned Bill Lillard. We'd certainly like to compliment him on being elevated and voted into the Hall of Fame by the Bowling Writers of America.
First got to know him in New Jersey, right there by the Paramus Bowl.
That's when we were doing the early days of bowling and starting to get it on TV.
Jensen leading by 10.
It's a little wide. Just a whisker wide, Chris. He's got such a powerful finish. He almost got it back enough to get the strike. But here, look how wide it is. Now, you see the sharp break right there. But look, coming from that wide an angle, a slight deflection, takes that pin around. Right there, sometimes you do get a strike and get that little love tap off the wall.
Slow motion is revealing, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Can't wait to reveal it in Munich in August as ABC covers the Summer Olympic Games. And speaking of that, Billy, do you think they'll ever have bowling in Summer Olympic Games?
Well, they did in 1936. Hank Marino and a number of other players represented the United States, but since then they haven't. I would love to see them have it again. It would be a great thing, a great compliment to the bowling game, and I think it would be good for the Olympics.
All right, trailing by 9, Larry Lobb, shooting in the 6th with a strike up. Oh, what a close final match. Instead of trailing by 9, as a result of the double, he leads by 1.
Don't go away, folks.
That includes after our PBT telecast, because it's Wide World of Sports with the Cresta runs from San Moritz, international drag racing, bikini competition, and Mr. World. If you ladies want to watch.
Well rolled.
He's back to his old trick. 3 in a row, Larry Lobb, and now Jensen trails by 11, shooting in the 7th frame with a spare up. Think he'll crank this one?
I think he's going to crank it the rest of his life. He's got no other choice. You see, when you've got that big frame, you've got to go around behind your body there a little taste, and he needs to crank it.
And it's a 10-pin.
That's the unfortunate thing about the crank. You're going to leave it. Now, you see here what we talk about when we mean the crank. Way behind him, you see he's way to the left, and he does that because of the hips. Many of the players have had that. Well, it's not a problem. It's just a game and the condition change. There you see. The power that you get from cranking causes the pin to fly.
Come on.
A lot of folks were oohing and awing about that maybe going off in the channel. Not as much crank as he puts on it. He'd have to really play it bad. In case some of our veteran former tour players are watching, such as Harry Smith, Tom Hennessy, where are you? I know you're thinking of maybe right now coming back to the tour. If it's this way every week, I'm going to join you.
You're in semi-retirement, Billy, huh?
Well, just from bowling, I still got to work for a living.
Now, with a spare in the 7th, Jensen shooting in the 8th, trailing by 12.
Chris, did you see him kick that pin out there? He had a little less crank on the ball, so it didn't hit quite as hard.
Now back to Larry Lobb. 3 in a row, shooting in frame number 8.
Now here's where Larry Lobb can really put this match away with a 12-pin lead. If he can make 2 strikes, he'll go to 32, and that's very important because there are only 2 frames left. We're getting late. He lost it a little bit, but it's going to stay.
When you're on, you're on. Increasing his lead to 22 pins.
Now there's a contrast in styles. We talked about the crank of Max Jensen. That's why all the crankers either changed their shot or left the tour. When you see the vogue today, the straighter shot and the softer shot. Now, he lost that ball on the downswing, and it still stayed in the track because he didn't have a wide area to play. Jensen would lose it on the downswing. It'd go in the right channel.
All right. Good explanation.
He's putting some icing on the cake.
Leading by 32 now, Max Jensen has a strike up in the 8th, shooting in the 9th frame.
Chris, now Max Jensen is not out of it. The fact that he's down by 32 does not mean he's out of it. He's shooting in the 9th. He has a possible 237 game. If he can wire it, he forces Larry Lobb to mark. And he looks good. Good Lord, man.
I'll tell you, with
There he did it.
280 pounds, he shakes the house.
Now, look at this. That ball just breaks so sharp it goes off over the 8th spot. He does a little rock in there, reel it, and finally goes.
And the reaction.
Now, Chris, he must strike. possible 237 game. What pressure for Max Jensen.
Hey, he did it. Just like that Cornhusker football team, cutting the lead to 12 pins now. And here we see it again.
Chris, there's that crank again. You see the power release. Look at this ball break and how sharp. And there you see the pin take it out. Don't get hit by that. I'm going to get out of his way. Now he makes Larry Lobb mark with that strike. He can really put the pressure on if he strikes here.
Okay. Larry Lobb watches. Things are getting close. 2 pins separating these 2 professional bowlers.
Chris, now with that strike, a tie becomes very, very possible. If he strikes on this ball, he would have 237. If Larry Lobb would go 9, spare, and 9, he would have 237. We'd have a sudden playoff, sudden victory, sudden death, whatever you want to call it.
The final game.
Very important count.
We got all of them. 237 for Max Jensen in his very first television appearance.
Now look at this ball mix those pins. And there it is, Chris. We talk about emotion. He's drained. He's not showing out. There's the mixing action.
Dropped a pound or 2 in this match, I'll guarantee you.
Chris, this is the big shot of Larry Lobb's life, probably. Another title is always most important. He needs at least 9. All right, Chris, he got the 9. Now he can still win.
All right.
Now
True excitement.
What must happen? Larry Lobb must make this 10 pin and then strike. If he gets 9, we have a tie. If he gets 8, he loses. But here's the shot for the 10.
All right. Ooh, he just got that spare. Wow. Holding the left side of his body. Hard. And now, the man in the fuchsia, or whatever you want to call it, color of the shirt, needs a strike. Wow.
If he leaves anything standing, folks, depending on what it is, if he leaves 1, it's a tie. If he leaves anything more than 1 standing, Max Jensen is the winner.
Max is not even looking. Turns away from the lanes.
He rolled it good, Chris.
Victory and a standing ovation, the first time we've seen this.
First time in 10 years, Chris, I've never seen it. A standing ovation for Larry Lobb and Max Jensen.
First time in 11 years that we've been doing the PBA telecast of standing ovation, and well-deserved and a disappointing 1-pin loss for Max Jensen in his first television appearance. Look at that, 238 to 237. Well, we'll be back in just a minute to meet the King Louie Open champion. Well, here we are. We're back at King Louie West Lanes and in all the excitement. And after the standing ovation, there you see the 2 men that came right down to the final ball. And the man on the right, who won 4 consecutive victories this afternoon, Larry Lobb. And he bowled a great bowler from Lincoln, Nebraska, Max Jensen. And Max, come in here. Well, I know how you feel. You're about the only thing that's lost this year in Nebraska. The Cornhuskers did it. But listen, you did a Cornhusker performance here like nothing we've seen.
Well, in this tournament, even though I finished second, I'm really a winner because it's my best finish, and because of that, I'm going to probably stay on the tour for quite a while.
Oh, we hope you will. Here's $3,500 to help you along, Max.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You have everything that we need out here on the Professional Bowlers Tour. Size, spirit, enthusiasm, spats, arrows on the shoe. Thank you. Good luck, Max. Great job. All right, now here he is. Averaged over 250, and he bowled. I can't even count the strikes, Larry. Congratulations.
Thanks, Chris. I'd like to thank everybody at King Louie for having us this year, and like them to have us back again. I've always liked this place. And after Gus won last week, I thought I'd go have Orlovsky coach me.
All right. Now I want to bring in the president of King Louie International, a great host, former president of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, Vic Lerner. Vic, would you present the check? And also a great governor, wonderful sports fan, Governor Ducking from Kansas. Hi, Gov.
How are you, Chris? Nice to see you.
A quick word, Vic, to Larry.
Yeah, Larry, here's 6,000 reasons for you to come back and like us a little more.
Sure will. Thank you. Thank you.
There you have it. Larry Lobb getting the $6,000 first prize right here at the King Louie West Lanes in Overland Park, Kansas. Our next stop on the Professional Bowlers Tour is Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And ABC Sports will be bringing you the final rounds of another great PBA tournament. The Winston-Salem Classic, that's 1 week from...
Did my time, took my chances. Went the distance, now I'm back on my feet. I'm still working on the Tiger.
Hi there and good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wildcat Lanes, Papillion, Nebraska, the home of the Coors Professional Bowling Association Regional Tournament. Sit back and enjoy yourself. My name is Johnny Ray Gomez, and I'd like you to meet right now the gentleman who's going to help me announce this fabulous tournament, a gentleman from Lincoln, Nebraska. A couple months ago, he won the St. Louis Rolaids Open in Dick Weber Lanes. He has just about every single record for a Nebraska bowler, including 12 300 games. Let's meet Mr. Bill Straub.
Thank you. Thank you, John. John, we've had a very exciting tournament here for the first time in Papillion. We've had lots of high scores. In fact, our tournament leader shot 300 on this very pair we're going to use for the TV show. Hopefully we'll have some more high scores, and it's been a great tournament. I think we'll continue to do so.
All right, Bill, let's meet these bowlers. The gentleman who qualified fourth. Let's have a nice big round of applause for a gentleman from Grand Island, Nebraska,